one of the things that people always talk about in life as an important thing is time management. People are always like, you know, the most important thing in your life is time management. And on one hand, it seems like it's true. Time management is the most important thing. Why? Because if you manage your time, then you basically manage everything properly. But even time management, I wouldn't say time management is the correct thing. I think prioritization is actually the most important thing. Like prioritizing the right things, I think that's the biggest skill of life. It's not time management. So I'll give you an example, right? Like imagine I'm laying in bed right now and I'm on a YouTube binge, okay? And the time for Asr comes. So if I keep prioritizing YouTube or Netflix or whatever you watch, right? If you keep prioritizing that and you don't give priority to Asr, then you're gonna lose, right? You messed up. Your time management, your life management, everything is messed up. So it's really, really important that you actually go out there and you learn how to prioritize things correctly, right? So what needs to happen is when you are dealing with this kind of stuff where you have so many different things and you want to do all of it, the truth is you have to remember something really important, right? There's a very famous thing I heard once where they said, Muhammad, you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want, but you can't do everything you want. So what that means is I must prioritize what I want. And so therefore the way forward for you is actually to learn to prioritize and for you to be content with that thing that you choose. So what I would do is I would actually go look at stuff. So imagine I've got all this stuff to do or I've got all these things. I would actually think to myself, right, of all of these things, which is the most important thing to do? Which is the one thing that if I don't do it and I do everything else, it won't matter because this one thing is the most important thing. Okay, now whatever that thing is, that is the thing that I would do, right? And then after that, I would ask that question again, right? Of the things that are left, what is the most important thing that I must do, right? And I would start to prioritize in that order. And sometimes you might have difficulty like, okay, both of these seem very similar. Then I would start to ask additional questions that would help me. So I'll be like, okay, like if I don't do this one, what's the impact? If I don't do this one, what's the impact? Okay, if I do this one, what's the benefit? If I do this one, what's the benefit? If I don't do this one, who will it affect? Who will it impact? If I don't do this one, who will it affect? Who will it impact? What's the benefits of doing this one over this one? What's the benefits of doing this one over this one? So just think about these things and then after that, come to a decision. And if you can't come to a decision, just say Bismillah and go, I'm going to go with this one. Ya Allah, help me. And just choose that one. Whatever your heart says, go with that. And then when you prioritize, you then have a list of what you need to do. Right? At that point, then what I would do is I would take that one thing and I would give it my absolute focus, right? I would give it my absolute focus and I would make sure that I specifically give it time, give it attention, put everything else away. You know, like sometimes you're like distracted by lots of different things. Put everything else away and focus only on that one thing. And do not move, do not do anything else until you've done that one thing. Right? And then when you've done that one thing, acknowledge yourself, recognize yourself, appreciate yourself, say Alhumdulillah for finishing that one thing. And then moving on to the next thing. What you need to realize is this impatience of trying to do everything together is actually what's ruining your life. Because you kind of have this mentality of all or nothing and you end up doing nothing. And so what's better is that you pick one thing and you do it bit by bit by bit. And you need to realize that me doing these things bit by bit by bit are actually going to have a huge impact on my life as opposed to me stressing over everything and not doing anything. So the key is for you to list out the things, prioritize the things, and then go off and focus and do it and acknowledge yourself and thank Allah for getting it done and to keep moving. And anytime you feel impatient, remind yourself that look, I can do anything I want, but I can't do everything. If I try and do everything, I'm going to ruin everything. So therefore, I'm going to focus very heavily and I'm going to do it. And what you'll find is most of the people who are extremely successful in their life, it's because they focused very, very deeply. And that focus, unfortunately, it requires patience.